the VisualForce page. Apex slash page name. I think I just created this. This page got created, so this time I should not get the error. Now start writing the code inside this. So now we understand the logic, right? Object. If you're using a standard controller, then you're basically creating a page for one object only. You cannot bring in multiple object data on a standard controller page, because standard controller is of one particular object and you can call only one standard controller on a page. All right. So that is the thing. So what we have to do, we have to decide for which object I want to design the page, and I'll have to call the standard controller for that particular object. All right. Let's say account. So the object connection is happening through the standard controller. Which fields you want to display, that's something which you can always write here. And write account dot name, put a line break here. Account dot type line break. Account dot industry. Okay. Name. Type industry. Okay, so which all fields we want to display or what data we want to display, those fields information is provided within the code. Object connection is done at the standard controller as an attribute of the page. Then if I save this, it won't show me the data. What is missing? Instead of this, we need to use a curly bracket. Now what is missing? Type incorrect spelling. So you have to make sure that we are using the correct spelling. Save it. Alright. Now it doesn't show the data as expected. What is the reason? What are we missing now on this code? What is wrong with the code? There's nothing wrong with the code. This code now if you're thinking that where did I define that it will take the ID from the URL, we did not define, because we are not defining the logic. See, what are we talking about? We're talking about the standard controller. Standard controller logic is whenever a page is using standard controller, it displays the data of the record for which the ID is supplied in the URL. You must have seen on the standard pages also it works pretty similar to that. If you just go to any of the standard page, click on this record, you see there is an ID in the URL, correct? And then it displays details of that record. So that's how the logic has been written for the standard controller. Alright, so here also you'll have to supply the ID. It takes the ID from the URL and then displays details of that record. Okay. So that is the thing. Okay. Now this part is done, so I just have to get the ID in the URL. Okay. Question ID equals enter. Okay, so this is kind of a template kind of a page which can take any ID and display the details of that particular record. Okay, so if you just want to display a few fields, then it's absolutely fine to use this approach, field by field. Let's say I just want to display 3 or 4 fields, then field by field approach is fine. What if I want to display all the details of a record? And there are 20 fields, I want to show all 20 fields. Then what do I do? Obviously don't go by this approach. If I want to display all the fields, then I can use another component which is called apex detail component. Okay, you don't have to do anything, you just have to use this apex detail component. Click on save. Let's see what apex detail component does. See this? Apex detail component brings in the complete list, complete details of that record. Got it? So that's what an apex detail component will do. It brings in details of the record along with the related lists. These are called related lists, right? So along with the details of that record, it brings in the related list as well. If you don't want the related list, just go and turn them off. So related list is an attribute on the detail component. When you define a detail component, there is an attribute called related list. You can say related list equals false, and if you say related list equals false, you won't see the related list. Details of the record will appear, but not the related list. See, now we have got the details of this record Dickinson, but I do not have the related list. The contacts, opportunities, cases are not there. All right. Now, if I do related list equals false, then all the related lists are removed. Now, what if I just want one related list to appear? I need one related list to be displayed. Okay. Now it has removed all of the related lists from here. I just want one of the related lists to appear here. Let's say opportunities, only opportunities. Then I'll have to call that related list separately. There is another component to call a related list, which is called apex related list. Apex related list. Okay. Now, in this apex related list, there is a required attribute. This related list component has got a required attribute called list. In this attribute, you define which related list you want to call. I want to call opportunities. So I'll write opportunities here. Okay. I'll click on save. Did I save this? Should have got saved. Yeah. Now it shows only one related list, the one that you defined there. Alright. I want to display one more related list. Let's say I want to display contacts. The same way I need to define one more component for that. Apex related list equals, okay, this will be contact or contacts. What should I write here? Contact or contacts? Quick. Contact or contacts? Okay. Some of you saying contacts. What is the logic? Some of you say contact. What is the logic? Why should I write contact and why should I write contacts? Whatever answer you have given, give me the logic for that. What is your logic behind that? Why do you say contacts? Okay, I see some people suggesting that it's a plural form. See, programming language is not that good with grammar, so it does not understand singular, plural, and all that stuff. All right, so that's definitely not the logic. It understands names. Name of the object is contact. Okay, but that's also something which is not to be used here. We are not calling the API name of the object here. Okay, there is another reason for that. What is the reason? We'll use contacts, but why are we going to use contacts? Not because it's a plural form. That is the relationship name between account and contact. Okay, so what we have to give here is the relationship name of the account and contact. Got it? Now where do you find relationship name? Okay, let's go ahead and find what is the relationship name. Go to setup, customize. Okay, where will be the relationship field? On which object will find the relationship field? Account contact relationship field will be found on which object? On account or contact? Which object I'll find the relationship field? On contact, right? Relationship field is always on the child object. Account contact, which is the child contact, obviously. Then the relationship field has to be on the child object. Okay, it's not on account, it is on contact. So I need to go to customize contact and then the fields. Go to the fields. Here is the field. This is the field which is connecting account and contact. Click on this field and find the relationship name. Okay. Now because the relationship name is contacts, that's the reason why we are gonna call contacts there. Okay. It has got nothing to do with singular plural format. At the time of creating a field, creating a relationship field, uh, the developer could have given any name to the relationship, right? It can be Barack Obama, so doesn't matter. So there is no such logic of singular plural. Whatever is the relationship name, like for standard things you will know, because it's standard, and if you use couple of times, like now contacts, always it's going to be contacts. But for custom fields relationships, you should always go and check what exactly is the relationship name and try to call that. Okay. So that's how it is. I'll say contacts here. click on save. One more small thing, this entire Visualforce program as well as Apex program, or in other words all the programming in Salesforce, is case insensitive. Okay, case insensitive means uh, something that is written in small letters or capital letter make the same sense. Okay, so there is no difference between this contacts and if you write it with small c. Okay, it doesn't make a difference here. It is completely case insensitive. Visualforce, Apex, SOQL, SOSL, everything is case insensitive. Okay, so save this. Now I should be able to see two related lists. Okay, that's what we have. Fine. All right. Now when you call this detail component also brings in one more thing, which is this title. You see this title here? We have not defined it. This comes by default with a detail component. So if you don't want this title, you can just remove it. It's an attribute available in the detail component. Just go to the detail component and say title equals false. Click on save. That's it. All right. So that's it. Okay. Now let's use couple of other components along with the same kind of details that we want to display. I'm going to use a few other components. Let me create a separate page. We create a VF3. Use standard controller. Name of the standard controller can be account, client. All these examples that I'm doing in the session, I would want you to do with other objects. Use other standard controllers. Okay. Now I'll create a page block here. In the page block, I give a title. I call it account details. And then I'll create a page block section. Okay, so page block, you know what a page block does? A page block basically creates this kind of a rectangular block, right? Now inside the page block I can have page block sections. Okay, so which is used for further breaking the page block. Okay, inside this page block section I will put my Apex detail component. Apex detail component I'm going to put inside this. Save it. We need to get the ID. Okay, so I have got the page block. Inside that page block I have got page block section component. Inside that I have the detail component. All right. Okay, now look at the page. You would notice, because I put it inside the page block section, the entire detail component data has come only in half of the section. You see this? The entire data is in the left hand side, there is nothing in the right hand side. The reason is the page block section component that we have used by default has two columns. Okay, page block section has got columns and it has got two columns by default. So because it has got two columns, the first component that is used inside a page block section goes into the left hand side, the second one will go into the right hand side. Okay, now but I have data which should just be displayed in one single column spread across the page. So in that case, what we need to do, we need to change the number of columns to 1. Okay, you can always go and change it. You can make it 1, you can make it 3 as per your requirement. In this case I need to make it 1, so I'll just go ahead and change it. So in the page block section there is an attribute called columns and we have the option of making it 1. Click on save. See this? Now it is coming in one column. Alright, now let me just remove the related list from here. From the details, I do not want the related list. Make related list equals false. Okay, now the related list has been removed. Now open this. After this page block section, I'll create another page block section. Okay, in this page block section, I will bring in the related list components. The first one is for contacts. Second one is for the good thing about Visualforce is that whatever you try to type, you get the suggestions for that. IntelliSense. Alright, this helps you a lot. So you don't have to remember all the tags or all the components and all the attributes. You should just know the start of it, and then it helps you, type the rest of the thing. So that makes life easier for you. Okay. Apex related list equals opportunities. Okay, now save this. Quick look, what does it give us? You see this? Now inside the page block section component, I've included contact related list, opportunity related list. Okay, both of them appear in two columns. Clear? So that's how it works. So whenever you need data or different components to be defined, to be displayed parallelly, you can always use Apex page block section. In case you just want the data to be displayed in one single column, then you can go ahead and change the number of columns to one. Okay. All right. Okay. So this is a page where I am displaying the details of the record along with the related list. All right. Now let's say I have a slightly different requirement. Now I have a requirement to display details of the record in a slightly different format. Okay, in this case what we are doing, we are actually displaying the details this way, and then I'm displaying the related list. Let me assume a scenario where I have got the related lists, but each related list has got, let's say, 10-20 records. Okay, in that case, if I show the details, think about this. Okay, let's say this is my page. Here I've got the details. Then I've got related list, and every related list has got, let's say 20-30 records. That has got too much of details. Then finally what will happen, your page will become very long. It will have too much of data on the same screen, and the end users might find it difficult to navigate through things. All right. In that kind of a scenario, what do we need to do? We need to basically come up with a page structure which helps my end users look into lesser data on the screen. Okay, so for that we can have a tab kind of an interface available, an interface with the tabs. So instead of displaying everything like this, I can create tabs for everything. One tab for details of the record, another tab for one of the related list, another tab for another related list. Okay, so same thing, the same stuff that we are doing here, but a different kind of a UI. All right. So let's design this kind of a page now with the help of tabs. Same stuff, details plus related lists, but this time we are going to do it with the help of tabs. It's very simple creating tabs in Visualforce. We have got component for tabs, and we are just going to use that. All right, like we have got Apex page block sections. For the tab also we have got component, so we don't have to do anything, we just have to call the component. So let's go ahead and create it. Standards controller account. Okay, we're going to create a page block. Not required, but I'm just creating it just to put a title. In this title, this time I'm not going to put a static title. I'll just put an expression account name, so that it shows the name of the account as the title. Now, for creating tabs, first of all, you'll have to use a component called tab panel. Okay, this tab panel is basically used for creating the panel on which your tabs will be set. All right, and then inside the tab panel, you will have to create your tabs. So, create tab. Okay, so this is your first tab. For tab, you have to give a label. there's an attribute called label for the tab. Details. Okay, you can set the width of the tab. Label width can be, let's say, 200 pixels. Okay, and now what do you want to display inside this tab that needs to be written inside this tab component? I want to show details of the tab, details of the record. Apex details, related list, I don't want to show inside this, so that's it. Okay. See, the tab is created. The tab is ready. I don't get to see any data inside this because I've not yet supplied the ID of the URL, ID in the URL. Take the ID, pass it on to the URL. Question mark ID equals this. Press enter. Yes, that's what we have. Right. Okay. Now similarly, I can have other tabs as well. Other tabs can be for the related lists. So after close of this tab, you can open another tab. Label can be contacts. Label width can be 200. Apex. Related list component, right? List equals contacts. We'll get another one. List equals one more for cases. Label with 200. Okay. So here we are. Here is the page. All right. We have got details. I click on the contacts tab. I get only to see only the contacts. Let me remove this also. This title I don't want to see. What do I need to do to remove this? I don't want to see this title. What do I need to do? Title equals false in the detail component, right? Absolutely correct. So we have to just go to the detail component. Where it is? Here it is. Title equals false. That's what we need to do. Click on save. Done. Makes things better. Okay. Yeah. Now you just click on a tab and it is going to show you the details from that particular whatever is to be displayed inside the tab, whatever code you have written inside the tab, that will only be visible under this. Right, that's how it works. Okay, so we are displaying the same data, just a slightly different format or the user interface. So in case we have got too much of data inside these related list, or this is just a related list example which I'm taking, but there can be multiple sections of data which you're trying to display, and you don't want to display all of them at once on the page. You want the user to click on a tab and then see the data information. You can use the tabs, and it's pretty simple. I'm not very sure how many of you have worked with HTML, but to create tabs in HTML requires a bit of effort. Okay, it's not that simple, but in Visualforce things are pretty simple. Another good thing that you can notice here is all these page blocks and page block sections, they by default use the styling of Salesforce. Okay, styling as in these background colors and the font size and the font colors and everything. So we really don't need to worry about that part. Okay, if you anytime get a chance to do some sort of development in HTML, you will see that you will need to spend considerable amount of time in setting up the fonts and make it look professional and all that stuff. All right, but here by default it takes the fonts and colors which are uh, completely in sync with the actual Salesforce background colors and all that stuff. So your pages automatically start looking professional, and that is how it is. Only in case you want something very different, something to look completely different from the Salesforce background colors or the Salesforce default colors, then you will need to do a bit of styling, but otherwise we don't need to spend much time on that. So all that we need to do is we just need to straight away go ahead and start working on the logics. Okay, we just can straight away go and start implementing the logics, think about the logics, what we need to do, the data that we want to display and stuff like that. All right, so that is it. All right, okay. So that's what we're going to discuss today. Now please let me know if anyone has got a question or doubt here.